All right, guys, in this video, I'm going to be covering what we call the 30-second speed to lead rule and pretty much be going over all of the different aspects of that and how, as plumbing business owner, this is very important to understand. So I'm going to be covering pretty much the psychology of an emergency, right? The old way, which you're probably implementing right now, and sort of the timeline for that and why this is a massive problem for your operation and how you need to go ahead and implement a new timeline, ideally one that's AI driven, right? And so I'll be going over what that is and basically talk more about the 24/7 unfair advantage, how you can go ahead and pretty much gain this unfair advantage with your fund operation and be able to collect more cash as a result and get more jobs. So watch this for at least 5 minutes. I guarantee that this will be a very good use of your time. And let's get straight into it. So pretty much how this works is, in terms of the psychology of an emergency. Now, as I'm sure you're aware, when a homeowner is standing in ankle deep water or shivering in a cold shower, the person is definitely not window shopping, right? This is a high urgency emotional purchase. So, when that is the case, right, the psychology is completely different from what you would expect, right? So in an emergency, homeowners don't care about your logo or about your About Us page or how many years you've been in business. They care about one thing, and that one thing is who can fix this issue right now, okay? Because it's a very urgent, very pain-sensitive issue, okay? So loyalty doesn't factor in here, right? What I care about is who can fix this in the fastest amount of time. So we find that the first response statistics with regards to this is that 78% of home service jobs go to first that response. If you aren't first, you don't exist. So it's quite cutthroat and it becomes a winner takes all scenario. Okay, so this is very important, right? That we understand psychology of emergency and essentially sets the groundwork for what we need to do in order to make sure that we get in this particular lead and we're able to get the job. Okay, so that's just the first phase. And then in terms of the old way, right? Now, here I'll be going over a timeline, pretty much, how it's something that you're possibly implementing right now and why it has a lot of flaws which needs to be fixed, right? And why you're leaving a lot of money on the table and losing a lot of jobs, okay, and booked estimates as a plumbing business owner. So in terms of the timeline, again, with regards to this, typically minute one is the trigger. The homeowner submits a lead form on whether it's Facebook or your website or Google, right? Or it could even be on the shared lead websites such as Angie or Home Advisor, right? And after that, let's say we get 2 minute free, there is a delay, right? This large 2 minute delay, so the lead hits your office manager's inbox, right? Or it could even hit your inbox if you currently don't have an office manager, right? But you or they are currently on the phone with a supplier or dispatching a tech, okay? So you can see how this delay is very consequential. Now, after 10 minutes have elapsed, now the office manager or you finally get a 3 second to dial the lead, okay? Now, at this point, 10 minutes is gone, and when you get to that time point, we're going to end up pretty much with an end case where you're effectively going to have the homeowner say, oh, sorry, I already got a hold of somebody else. They're on their way, okay? You just paid for a lead, did the work to capture them, and you lost the job because of a 9 minute delay. Now, you may think that 9 minutes is not that long, but in a world where urgent needs need to be met and where there's a lot of competition, right? This is age, right? So at that point, again, they're not just talking to you, they're talking to many other plumbers. And again, like we mentioned, it becomes a case where 70% of service jobs go to the first company that responds, okay? So there's bound to be a couple of plumbers before you who are able to respond much faster. And in that situation, your odds to get the job is next to zero, right? So this is very important we understand this part. Because that's eligibility, right? They advise that this is an situation and brand loyalty is not an equation. So in that case, 70%, it becomes a first come, first serve situation. Okay, so now that we understand that very clear that this is something that we need to really pay attention to, right? If your dispatch board has gaps, it's probably not because you don't have enough leads. It's because your response time is leaking high ticket jobs to your competitors. And as we know, high ticket jobs can cost upwards of $1,000, $2,000, if not more, right? For water heat replacement, whether it's a sewer line sort of fix, like this costs a lot of money. So this extra 10 minutes that we're talking about here is pretty much a difference between you being able to add an extra 25% to 50% of revenue, right? Which you'd be pretty much be getting that for free. So in that situation, this is why exactly we install the Dragonfruit infrastructure for our clients, right? We guarantee a 30-second response time, 24/7. If you want us to build this for you, you can click the link in the description or in the first comment to book your free implementation call. But yeah, let's look at how the math changes when you actually hit that 30-second window. So this brings us on to the third phase. This is what we call AI time. So this phase is much differently from the old way, which are likely implementing right now. So in terms of how this timeline works, we have the second, which is trigger. The homeowner submits their information, right, in the same way, whether it's via Meta or Facebook or Google or your website. And the difference here now, things start changing quickly. In second free, the engagement before the homeowner can even open a new tab to search for another plumber, because that's what they're going to be doing, right? They want to be reaching out to as many plumbers as possible. And as you mentioned, they are in an urgent psychological frame of mind, right? So when that happens, you're able to still capitalize on that, right? You're able to capitalize on that urgency. And what happens is when they do submit a form in second free, right, 3 seconds, pretty much immediately, the Dragonfruit AI, right, instantly fires off a text with it saying, "Hi name, this is your company, dispatch. I see you're having an issue with your water heater. Is that currently leaking?" Typically, we actually call them, which is a lot more effective in actually getting them to get the book estimate compared to using text. So this is our AI, this is our AI agent that we use to help plumbers specifically be able to get those jobs, okay, and get those book estimates in from people who opt in via the form, whether it's on Meta, Google, or your website. And in terms of how that works, I'll show you a quick demo of how that particularly works. So here it is.
Hi there. Hey, thanks for picking up. Just confirming, is this Alex?
Yeah, it is. Who's speaking?
Awesome, thanks, Alex. This is Jordan from Apex Plumbing and Drain Specialists. You just submitted a request online about a plumbing issue. Was that for no hot water, or are you dealing with a main drain backup right now?
Yeah, this is for our water heater. It's not working. Hasn't worked for 8 hours. Yeah, we have no hot water, so this is a massive problem. So we want to get fixed ASAP.
So demo, we'll see more of how that demo works. So you can go ahead and give a link. You can go and about that. But basically, the AI introduces a particular lead immediately. Right? How you have a conversation like a human in order to go ahead and actually get this lead to be booked in as a booked estimate. Right? So they take it through the whole journey. Again, this takes 30 seconds, if not more, like in a minute or so. The homeowner replies, and the AI instantly categorizes the urgency, qualifies the job type, and gathers the property address. So it does all of that for you. You don't have to do this. It does it on its own accord. And again, we collect the knowledge, we get the information of plumbing company and your operation, and we're able to get AI to communicate all of that to the input. So this is 30 seconds, and this lead is qualified, right? And it's being booked effectively onto your calendar, right? So the AI secures the appointment and drops it directly onto your active dispatch board, okay? So it can happen in pretty much 2 minutes. Again, this is completely different from the old way of doing things, right? Where, in 2 minutes, you're qualified to take a owner. Whereas this old way, you haven't even reached out to the lead yet. You're still doing something else, or something gets in the way. You may not be notified in time. And again, you're human, right? We all have, inability to not do things. And, we can be busy as well and have priorities. But this AI works 24/7, okay? Which I want to talk more about in a bit. And yeah, again, 10 minutes, you already lost the lead. In this case, 6 seconds, we already have a lead booked onto your calendar. So again, this is completely a game changer and something that you definitely need to implement into your plumbing operation. But as we know, the end result is you just locked in a high-tech installation without a human being in the office ever lifting a finger. So again, this captures more revenue, okay, more profits for your operation without you doing extra work, right? So this is really a game changer, and why we promote it so much, right? So at the end of all that, this is 24/7 on advantage. This is adding fuel to the fire. This is sort of a bonus, right? Even in this phase where the industry the daytime, they also everything up. So our issue is where it points out that pipe spurts, at 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. while your competitors' offices are closed and sending leads to voicemail. Your AI is actively booking jobs while you sleep. Okay, the same jobs in the daytime, but in the night, your AI is booking leads in the night sleeping, and it get them to be on your calendar the next day or in the daytime. So it's able to do that. Again, this is infinitely more leveraged and more effective than what a human could ever do, right? And infinitely cheaper as well, and more cost effective. And again, that leads to the compounding effect. It's not just about winning one job, it's about capturing all the overflow emergency demand in your city, simply because your infrastructure doesn't rely on manual human follow-up, right? So you can see how this all together. This leads to you massively increasing your revenue over time, very comfortably. Okay, in 2026, you cannot scale a multi-truck plumbing operation by relying on manual phone calls to chase down digital leads. The speed of the internet requires the speed of AI. Okay, and again, as you know, that AI is pretty much here and here to stay, and it's paramount that you go ahead and implement this into your operation, because if you don't, then there are other people, other companies who will, and they'll get the job much faster than you will. And again, a lot of plumbing companies are not implementing this yet. It's still relatively new, very new to the plumbing space. So if you're the one that's able to go ahead and implement this, you're going to beat out everybody else who's still chasing the same lead in 10 minutes after the lead has opted in. Okay, you'll be 78%. You're going to be the first person who's able to reach out to the lead every single time. Okay, so this is really important. So ultimately, if you want to plug this 30 second into your plumbing business and permanently eliminate your lead response delay, click the link in the description below or in the first comment, and you can book in a free implementation call with me personally, and we'll show you how we completely integrate this done for you infrastructure directly into your product stack software. Okay, so you can go ahead and do that below. If you want to watch our other video, you can do so with the one that is attached here, and we'll see you in the next video.